Welcome to this special MTV Movie Awards episode of last night. I think we can safely say that MTV doesn't have quite the same hang-up about sci-fi that the Oscars do, but they still left a few sci-fi favorites off the list. Joining me to recap the night is film critic Huge Rant. Welcome back, Huge.
Thank you, Liv.
I take it you're not entirely pleased with last night's awards show.
I would hardly be me if I was entirely pleased, Liv. Not to sound like I'm impossible to please, of course, but there are more than a few things about last night that could have gone much better.
Such as what?
Such as the awards show itself. Now look, we all know MTV is the MySpace of the entertainment world, the pioneer in its field that struggles each year to brand itself as the younger, hipper version of normal before people stop using it entirely. But awards shows like this only stress how badly living in the now can damage your own brand.
What's wrong with embracing the changing times?
You lose all sense of perspective. At one end, you have the Oscars, at the other, you have the MTV Movie Awards. The Oscars try to preserve tradition while keeping the show fresh, while MTV jumps on whatever fad is currently moving. They have the same problem though. Neither one of them can maintain any sort of real identity if they keep changing from year to year.
And you think the awards show last night is evidence of that?
Just look at the winners, Liv. And the nominees. And the categories themselves. They have a new category this year called Best Musical Moment. In another awards show, that would immediately be seen as a reaction to Les Miserables, but MTV pits Anne Hathaway's Oscar-winning performance against Channing Tatum stripping. It's the perfect camouflage. And who wins that award? A group of rising breakout stars singing a rap song that no one has heard in 12 years.
I think you're being a little unfair there. Pitch Perfect struck a chord, pardon the expression, with a lot of younger viewers.
Exactly. Which is also why they picked the star of the film to host the show.
How would you have handled it then?
First of all, if we're having a musical moment category, then we should include a few more movies with actual singing in them. The Hobbit had singing dwarves. For that matter, so did Snow White and the Huntsman.
You think one of them should have won?
I think they should have been considered at least. Snow White has drawn a lot of undeserved hatred over the last year because of its star, Kristen Stewart. I won't say she's Oscar material, but her performance certainly should have gained more attention. Best on-screen duo between her and Chris Hemsworth perhaps. Or best kiss.
They barely kissed at all though.
Again, that is the whole point. It's the best kiss category, not the hottest make-out scene category. Snow White's kiss is the most iconic in all of fiction, even more so than Sleeping Beauty. I'm no twihard, Liv, I think you know that, but a lot of people out there need to get over their twi-hate and start judging movies like Snow White on their merits.
You do have a point, Huge. I thought Charlize Theron was great as the evil queen. She took the most shallow and two-dimensional of villains in history and turned her into a believable and even sympathetic character. But it's not like they ignored Snow White entirely. They had the best hero category.
They had it, but they didn't really treat it that seriously. There was no real presentation of the award.
Yeah, I guess you're right about that. What other changes do you think they could have made?
They didn't really give a lot of time over to the movie clips. Especially with the best kiss and best fight categories, you would expect to see more of the kisses and the fights. I guess they needed that extra time to tell some not very funny jokes.
Uh-oh. Is this where we find out you're not a fan of Rebel Wilson?
I wouldn't say I'm not a fan. I would say though, a lot of her routines fell pretty flat. And I don't know what happened with the whole Will Ferrell award presentation, but nothing in that whole 18-minute segment said, comedic genius, to me.
The special awards segments are always a bit subjective, even for an awards show. I'm sure Jamie Foxx deserved to win the Generation Award, whatever that is, But when Emma Watson won the Trailblazer Award, it just felt like something they made up so they could give it to her. I don't blame them. I want to give Emma Watson awards all the time myself.
Special awards are a good way for these shows to make a personal statement, as it were. But sometimes you end up with an award like the Shirtless Award or the Scared as Crap Award, and you think they're just really trying to hold on.
That isn't such a bad thing. After all, some people go to movies just to see the shirtless scenes and the scary scenes.
Perhaps. But then you brand yourself as the kind of television station that does its best to appeal to people who only show up for the shirtless scenes. In other words, you become the station that airs 6 seasons of The Jersey Shore.
I can't disagree with you on that point. Let's talk about something a bit more positive though. The Avengers had a pretty big night, winning Best Fight and Movie of the Year. Tom Hiddleston even won Best Villain for Loki.
For someone who got bitten by every Avenger individually, you have to hand it to the guy. He took on every Avenger individually.
He certainly did. And then Joss Whedon made the non-announcement about Avengers 2 in 2015. They have a much bigger enemy in store a couple of years from now.
I love the Avengers, Liv, I really do. But I think a lot of the Avengers love is just carried over from the other movies in the series. Iron Man, Captain America, etc. If we're going to look at it through that lens, then The Dark Knight Rises should be able to carry the awesomeness of the other movies in the trilogy as well.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
Yes. The 3 Dark Knight movies are better than the 7 Avengers movies. 7 including the Hulk movies, of course.
That is a heavy conversation that I would gladly have at any other point, but I think we're just about out of time. Thank you for joining me again.
Always a pleasure.
And thank all of you for watching last night.